Willie with Willie's Hog Dust. Today we're going to be doing another video. We're going to be doing some barbecue Boston butts. And I always hear about how hard barbecue is and how difficult it is, and that's just crap. It's not hard, and it's really easy, and I'm just going to show you how barbecue comes out perfect. Don't need a fancy smoker. However, I'm cooking on one. You can buy it, anywhere. Weber grill. You can get a Big Green Egg or an egg knockoff, or any of those Brinkman smokers or whatever. And they have several of them at some of the price clubs. So you don't have to have a fancy smoker to make good barbecue. So let me show you what we're going to do today. I basically went and bought some Boston butts, cryovac. This is usually how you're going to buy them. I've cleaned out my sinks, because I'm just going to kind of show you the easy way to do it, and that's the way I do it. Got a couple of them, got 4 of them. So basically what we end up doing is just take them, put them in the sink. Going to go ahead and cut them open. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and rinse them off with cold water. They've been sitting in that cryovac. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut these open, go ahead and get them all done at once. We got some ribs over here too. We got some St. Louis style ribs. So I'm going to probably end up doing a separate video on that, even though it's pretty much the same process. Nice butts here. Alright, so what we've done is just kind of rinse those off. Kind of let the water drain off a little bit. Flip them around. Alright. Get some hands off real quick. What we're going to do is, it's a very simple process, and this is pretty much what I do with everything. This is olive oil. Olive oil. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to sprinkle a little bit on the meat. Okay? Then I've got the Willie's Hog Dust Original Blend. So what I end up doing now is I'm just going to take it and roll these butts around in this oil. Makes it nice because it's in the sink. And the oil doesn't kind of go everywhere. It lets everything get nice and oiled up. The reason I do the oil, I think it kind of helps the meat stay moist, and in addition to that, it really helps the spice, the hog dust, gives it something to stick to. If you just sprinkled it on the butt and it wasn't damp or whatever, you'd probably, a lot of the seasoning would just kind of roll right on off the meat. Alright, so we've done that about now. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to take the hog dust, and I'm just going to coat these butts. And I just sit there and coat them on all the sides. And I just say shaking it on. And get them good and coated. And again, the nice thing about the sink is it keeps all of the rub right here, and you can kind of constantly roll your meat around in the seasoning, and you can keep using all the extra without it, you know, getting lost or on the floor or counter. Or if you do it outside on the ground or wherever, you can actually get the use of all the rub. These are bone-in butts. There are available some boneless butts, however they don't do nearly as well without the bone. I think the bone really helps the meat and definitely helps the flavor. I've tried the boneless; they weren't as good, so we don't do that anymore. These were, see, these butts were about 9.5 pounds each. So these were some really good size butts here. Alright, so we've now done that. Just going to roll them around for a second, get them coated. Go ahead and pick them up and put them on the tray. See, the meat's already smelling really good. Again, roll them around and get all that extra left over. There we go. Your butts are now seasoned. That's really all there is to getting the meat prepped. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to clean up here, and then we're going to go outside, and we're going to fire up the grill, smoker, and then when that gets up to temperature, which is about 220, we will go ahead and put these things on. So, I'll clean up here and we'll see you in a minute. Alright, so what we got here is, this is my smoker. A lot bigger than it needs to be. But we're just going to go ahead and get this thing fired up. So, I've got a gas starter so that I won't say I'm a sheet, but it kind of helps get the wood going. So I turn the gas on. Come over here. It's also always helpful to have a really good pair of gloves so you don't burn your hands off. So once we've done that, go ahead and take some wood. I primarily use white oak. We have a lot of it around here in South Carolina and Georgia, so it's primarily what I use. Obviously, people can use a number of different things. Hickory, mesquite. I know that's pretty big, but the oak is plentiful. You can get it from any tree place to take down trees. I mean, they keep a lot of this stuff on hand, and also a lot of it is used for firewood in the winter. So, you know, it's definitely readily available, and it's not expensive. So, and it gives a great flavor to your meat. So basically what we do is we've started the fire. We're going to go ahead and shut that door. Usually what you're doing is when you want to get your smoker up to temperature, you go ahead and open up all the vents, top and bottom, let the heat start flowing through. It's going to create a draft, and we'll go ahead and get everything prepped for putting the barbecue on. Alright, so what we've done is we've gone ahead and gotten the fire started. You can obviously see the smoke go ahead and coming out of the vent. What we've got is, this is a reverse flow smoker, which basically means you got the firebox here, it comes under a platform, comes back across the meat and then out the top. Again, sophisticated, it doesn't have to be. You can use any number of smokers from anywhere and get the same results. So typically what I end up doing now is I'm going to open everything up. And then inside the smoker, I have a pan, a water pan. Water is really important when you're doing barbecue because it keeps basting the meat in moisture and keeps the food moist. So you need to make sure you've got a water pan in your smoker and that you keep it full. So I'm going to go ahead and load that up right now. All right, so we have now done that. All right, now what we'll do is we've done that, we'll just go ahead and lower the grates, lower the lids. We'll let that get to temperature. The other thing is, real quick, make sure your gauges are calibrated before you start barbecuing. It's very important to keep the meat around 225, 220 degrees. If your thermometers are off, you could over or undercook the meat. If you have any questions as far as if the thermometers are calibrated or not, you can simply take the gauges off. You can run them under cold tap water, run a candy thermometer or another meat thermometer you have inside, run it under, and if they don't match, then these are adjustable. You can adjust them on the back, make sure that they read the same, and then attach it back to your smoker, and then you know you'll have a calibrated thermometer. So this is going to take a little while to get up to temperature. We're only at about 120 degrees right now, so we'll let this sit probably about another 30-45 minutes. It should be up to temperature, and then we'll put the meat on. All right, it's probably been about 45-50 minutes. We're now up to about 240 on the back and 210 on the front. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on because this thing's hot, hot, hot. I'm going to go ahead and shut these. And pull a couple of these vents about halfway closed. Cut the gas off so it's rolling now. Check my wood. Down. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and put the meat on. I use these just because they're easy to clean up. And I go ahead and throw them on. You kind of see you have the bone part here and a muscle part here. I don't want to get this muscle too done, so I'll throw it on bone side to the back, facing the heat source. Meat on. Comes off, my hands are clean. Go ahead and shut it down. Now what we'll end up doing now is these butts are going to cook for about 9 or 10 hours. We'll flip them about halfway through. And then after that, you got some good eating. Okay, it's now been about 7 hours. Went ahead and pulled the meat off. And what we're going to do is, what I'm going to do for the last couple of hours, go ahead and wrap it. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to wrap them in some saran wrap, and then wrap them in tin foil, and then we'll go put them back on the smoker for the last couple of hours. So I'm going to wrap these and be right back. Alright, now that we've finished wrapping the butts, I'm going to go ahead and put them back on the smoker and let them finish out probably the next couple of hours. One of the things about wrapping them in the saran wrap, since these are going to be ones that people are actually going to be eating, we're going to be pulling this pork instead of slicing it. Slicing it, you could want it maybe a little bit more firm. Since we're going to be pulling this, I want to keep as much of the juice as I can, but at the same time getting a good crust. So we've gotten the crust, which is what we want, and now I wanted to go ahead and for the last part go ahead and keep the juices, because I'll put those juices back in the meat once I pull it for the people this afternoon. So I'll go put them back on the smoker for the next couple of hours, and then they'll be done. Alright, now that we've actually finished them on the smoker, we had wrapped them and finished them on the smoker, so they've been sitting for a while, so they're still really, really warm to the touch, probably still too tough to pull, but I do have a handy-dandy contraption here. This thing right here makes it really, really nice. It's hooked up to a drill. It's really kind of cool for pulling pork. You can get these actually at the Fireside Kitchen and Grills. I think it's in Broad Street in Augusta, Georgia. Ask for Greg McCulley. Tell him Willie sent you, and he'll set you up. This thing right here is a godsend. So that's what we're going to use to pull this pork. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and open them up. Like I said, I wrap them because, since we're going to be pulling these, I want to make sure, that they're still really hot, that we have all the juice for the meat. So I'm just going to do that so I don't burn my hands. And you can kind of see how they're in saran wrap. I'm just going to slice open this end here, like that. Cut that a little bit side. Over, hopefully, and there you go, out it comes, and all the juice. You can see all this juice from the pork that normally you would have lost. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze all of that. You can see how hot it still is. It's been off the smoker for several hours. Squeeze that. Go ahead and put that in the trash. Now, obviously, I have 4 of these butts, so I'm not going to do all of them on video. But I will go ahead and do this one. So we've got it sitting now in the pot, and then all we simply do is we take this little booger here and see, actually separates it right from the bone, and And then it's almost like a mixer. Make sure I get the big pieces. And pull it off. Little bits and pieces. We'll simply just set that right there for a minute. And you can now see the pork is pulled. And I didn't burn my fingers. So it's a really nice thing. And obviously, since we're going to be serving this, we'll go ahead and dump this into this here tray. You can kind of see it's all nicely pulled. Still a couple of, decent sized chunks. And voila, you got pulled pork. You got all the juice, you got all the bark. I do not separate the meat from the fat. I go ahead and incorporate it all into the pork. And there you go, pulled Boston butt. It's that simple. Thanks so much for watching my video, and we'll be doing a couple more shortly on some different things, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much. Oh, www.willieshogdust.com, sauces, rubs, and rinds. Thank you so much.